Hey everyone, and welcome. Today, we're going to completely rethink something we all think we know, studying. We're moving past just memorizing things to figure out what it really means to study, to think, and to actually understand. Let's dive in.
So, let's just start with a big question. Most of us grew up believing that studying is all about cramming facts into our heads for a test. But what if that's not the point at all? What if real learning is something way more active, way more powerful?
Okay, so here's the big shift. Real studying isn't about passively absorbing information. It's an active process. You take an information, you break it down, you make it your own, and then, and this is the most important part, you use it to solve problems that actually matter to you. It's a tool, not a chore.
And to really get this, we've got to look at the word text itself. It actually comes from the Latin word texere, which means to weave. Think about it. Just like threads are woven together to create a piece of fabric, anything in our world that was created with a purpose, an article, a movie, even a chair, is a text. It's waiting for you to read it. So studying becomes the art of reading the world.
All right, so if we're going to learn to read the world, where do we even begin? Well, it all starts with a really simple but foundational tool that'll help you decode pretty much anything you come across.
The very first tool, and honestly, it's a game changer, is the terminology list. Think of it like your own personal decoder ring for any subject. As you're reading, just pull out the key words. But, and here's the crucial part, don't just write down the definition. For every single term, you need to explain its significance, like why does this matter, and its impact. What does this thing do? That little process is the key to real understanding.
Let's make this real. Say you're reading an article about AI in healthcare. Using your list, you'd pull out ChatGPT-4, and you'd note its potential. You'd define doctor extenders not just as a tool, but as something that changes the role of a doctor. You'd clarify diagnostic error to really pinpoint the exact problem that AI is trying to solve. You see, all of a sudden this complex topic starts to look like a clear network of connected ideas.
So now you've got this awesome list. But it's not just a dictionary, right? It's a launch pad. It gives you the vocabulary, the building blocks you need to start asking much, much deeper questions. Let's see how that works.
And this is so important because, thinking isn't about having a brain full of memorized answers. It's about the process of asking really sharp, insightful questions and then digging in to try and answer them. This is how you go from just being a reader to being an analyst.
Now, a super easy way to get started is with that classic framework we all know, the 5 W's and an H. But for deep analysis, you really want to zero in on the big 3. What, why, and how. What is really going on here? Why is it happening? And how does it all fit together? Asking these over and over is how you drill down to the heart of any subject.
Okay, check this out, because this is a crucial difference. A simple, descriptive question is just asking for a summary. What did the author say? You can find that answer right in the text. But an analytical question, that points to a problem, a puzzle, a tension. It forces you to interpret and to think for yourself.
So, where do you find these killer questions? You actually hunt for them. You look for what we call points of tension. As you read, does something just not add up? Is there a contradiction, a gap in their logic, an unexpected twist? These are your entry points. These are the little cracks where original ideas are born.
Okay, let's recap. You've got your terms down, you've found a really juicy analytical question. So what's the point of all this? Well, the answer you come up with for that question, that becomes your goal. That becomes your central argument, or what we call a thesis. But listen, there's a huge difference between a weak thesis and a strong one. Take this example. The first one is just descriptive. It states a fact. This article summarizes arguments. Okay, so what? There's nothing to debate there. But the second one, the arguable one, takes a stand. It says, yeah, this part is good, but this other part is flawed. Now that is the start of a real, powerful argument. And that's the bottom line right there. As the folks at the Harvard College Writing Center say, a strong thesis has to be arguable. It's not a fact. It's your claim, your interpretation, that a smart person could actually disagree with. It's the unique solution you came up with for the puzzle you found. All right, we've talked about 3 big ideas: the terminology list, analytical questions, and the thesis. Let's connect the dots and see how this all works together like a well-oiled machine. Think of it like this amazing feedback loop. First, you use the terminology list to really understand the basics. That solid understanding lets you ask smarter, more analytical questions. Then, answering one of those questions helps you form your own unique thesis. And finally, arguing for that thesis forces you to understand the topic on an even deeper level.
which of course just makes the whole cycle start over, but stronger this time.
And when you get into the habit of doing this, two incredible things start to happen. First, your reading comprehension just goes through the roof because you're not just reading words, you're wrestling with ideas. And second, you start to move beyond just summarizing what other people think, and you start generating your own original out-of-the-box ideas.
Look, like any skill, this takes practice. It's not something you just get overnight. It requires consistent effort. For instance, at Essence Academy Jeju, this is a core part of how they teach, giving students daily materials to practice and really master this way of thinking.
So here we are, right back at the beginning, but everything looks different now, doesn't it? Real studying isn't about memorizing answers. It's about using information to solve problems. And now you have the fundamental tools to do exactly that. So the only question left is, what problem are you going to solve first?